the FBI. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is the closest thing the United States has to a national police force, and the fact that America resisted creating one for most of its history explains why the FBI's existence remains politically complicated even today. Founded in 1908 under Theodore Roosevelt's Justice Department, the Bureau was built to investigate federal crimes that crossed state lines and fell outside local jurisdiction. What it became under J. Edgar Hoover's 48-year directorship was something considerably more expansive. An intelligence apparatus that surveilled civil rights leaders, kept secret files on politicians, and accumulated enough compromising information on enough powerful people that Hoover remained untouchable through 8 presidencies. The modern FBI operates across over 200 categories of federal crime, with counterterrorism and counterintelligence as its highest priorities, hunting foreign spies operating inside the United States, and investigating domestic and international terrorist networks before attacks occur. Beyond that, it leads major organized crime investigations, significant cybercrime operations, public corruption cases, and complex financial fraud. Every major federal investigation that does not belong to a more specialized agency eventually lands on the FBI's desk. It is the investigative arm of the Department of Justice and the agency that foreign intelligence services most consistently try to penetrate, compromise, and monitor. The DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration, was created in 1973 under Nixon's war on drugs with a singular mission that has not changed in the 50 years since: enforce the controlled substances laws of the United States and dismantle the criminal organizations that profit from violating them. Where the FBI might investigate a cartel as an organized crime enterprise, the DEA's entire institutional focus is the drug trade specifically, the supply chains, the distribution networks, the financial structures, and the leadership of organizations moving narcotics into American markets. DEA agents operate in over 70 countries, embedding with foreign law enforcement, running informant networks inside major trafficking organizations, and conducting the kind of long-term undercover operations that can take years to develop and seconds to collapse. The agency's most significant operations have targeted the Medellin cartel, the Sinaloa cartel, and the CJNG, producing some of the most dramatic takedowns in the history of drug enforcement, while generating persistent questions about whether enforcement alone can address a market that reconstitutes itself around every disruption. The DEA's intelligence on cartel operations remains some of the most detailed in existence. What to do with that intelligence has never been a question the agency alone can answer. The ATF, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, occupies a specific and politically contested corner of federal law enforcement, responsible for firearms trafficking, illegal gun markets, arson investigation, and explosive device crimes in a country where the political conversation around guns makes its work perpetually controversial. TF agents investigate illegal gun trafficking rings that move weapons from legal purchase into criminal hands, bombings, arson for profit schemes, and the regulatory compliance of the firearms industry through its federal licensing and tracing functions. The National Tracing Center, a function of the ATF, traces crime guns for law enforcement agencies across the country, connecting weapons recovered at crime scenes to their original point of sale. What the ATF cannot do under federal law is maintain a searchable national database of gun sales, a restriction written into law by congressional action that requires the agency to process tracing requests manually through physical records rather than digital search. The result is an agency trying to track the flow of illegal firearms through a system specifically designed to limit its ability to do so efficiently. The U.S. Marshals Service. The United States Marshals Service was established in 1789, making it the oldest federal law enforcement agency in the country, older than the Constitution was when it was created, and its mission has expanded across 2.5 centuries into one of the most operationally diverse in American law enforcement. The Marshals' primary function today is federal fugitive apprehension, hunting down and arresting wanted federal fugitives through a network of regional task forces, that operate across every state. They are consistently the most productive fugitive apprehension force in the country, capturing more fugitives annually than any other agency. Beyond that, they protect the entire federal judicial process, guarding federal judges, protecting courthouses, transporting federal prisoners across the country, and running the Witness Security Program, the highly classified initiative responsible for relocating and protecting witnesses whose testimony has placed them in danger. Since the program's creation in 1971, no protected witness who followed program guidelines has been harmed while under its protection, a record that reflects both the program's operational security and the extreme measures taken to sever protected witnesses from every connection to their previous lives. The Secret Service. Most people know one half of the Secret Service's mission and have never heard of the other. The protective mission, the agents in suits with earpieces surrounding the president, is what the public sees. The financial crimes mission is what the agency was actually created to do. The Secret Service was established in 1865 on the day Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, according to some accounts, specifically to combat counterfeiting of American currency. A problem so widespread in the post-Civil War period that an estimated 1/3 of all currency in circulation was fake. Presidential protection was added to its mission only in 1901 following the assassination of President McKinley. Today's Secret Service investigates counterfeiting, credit card fraud, cyber-enabled financial crimes, and identity theft alongside its protective mission, and the combination has produced an agency with a genuinely unusual skill set that sits at the intersection of physical security and financial intelligence. ICE. Immigration and Customs Enforcement operates as two distinct investigative functions under the same organizational roof, and the gap between what those two functions actually do and how the agency is publicly discussed is one of the larger disconnects in American law enforcement discourse. Homeland Security Investigations, the investigative arm, tackles transnational criminal organizations involved in human trafficking, weapon smuggling, narcotics distribution, and financial crimes that cross international borders. HSI works cases that would otherwise fall between the jurisdictional gaps of agencies focused on domestic crime or pure drug enforcement. Enforcement and removal operations, the other arm, is responsible for identifying, arresting, and deporting individuals who have violated immigration law. The agency that investigates international sex trafficking networks and the agency that conducts interior immigration enforcement operate under the same acronym, which has made ICE one of the most politically polarizing agencies in the federal government, generating intense public debate that frequently conflates the two missions in ways that serve neither accurate understanding nor effective policy discussion. The IRS Criminal Investigation Division. Al Capone ran the most powerful criminal organization in Chicago for years and survived everything law enforcement threw at him, until the IRS built a tax evasion case that sent him to Alcatraz for 11 years. That case established the foundational logic that has made IRS Criminal Investigation one of the most effective financial crimes units in federal law enforcement ever since. IRSCI special agents are the only federal investigators authorized to investigate federal tax crimes, but their actual caseload extends far beyond tax evasion into money laundering, complex financial fraud, and the financial infrastructure of organized crime and drug trafficking organizations. Their singular capability is following money through extraordinarily complex financial structures, shell companies, offshore accounts, cryptocurrency transactions, and layered corporate entities, with a patience and technical precision that most other law enforcement agencies do not have the institutional mandate or training to replicate. When federal prosecutors want to understand how criminal money moved, they call IRSCI. CBP, Customs and Border Protection, is the largest law enforcement agency in the United States. Over 60,000 employees managing every official port of entry in the country, alongside the vast stretches of border between them. CBP officers at airports, seaports, and land crossings inspect travelers and cargo for illegal goods, inadmissible individuals, and contraband moving in either direction. The Border Patrol component operates in the areas between official ports of entry, the terrain that defines the public conversation about border security, while representing only one dimension of what CBP actually does. The agency processes over 1 million travelers per day at official entry points, making its primary operational challenge not identifying the rare threat among the many legitimate crossings, but doing so at a speed that does not bring international commerce and travel to a standstill. The tension between security thoroughness and operational velocity is one that no technological solution has fully resolved. NCIS. The Naval Criminal Investigative Service was made famous by a television franchise that is now run for over 2 decades, and the actual agency differs from its fictional version in most specific ways while sharing its fundamental mission. NCIS is a civilian-led agency that investigates felony-level crime, terrorism, and counterintelligence threats affecting the United States Navy and Marine Corps globally. Its special agents operate in every environment where naval forces are present, aboard ships at foreign bases, in combat zones, and in the criminal networks that target military personnel and installations. What makes NCIS operationally distinctive is the combination of criminal investigation capability with counterintelligence function. The same agency that investigates homicides and financial fraud aboard naval installations also runs operations to identify and neutralize foreign intelligence services attempting to penetrate the Navy's personnel and technology. The television show got the name right, and most everything else approximately. If you made it this far, drop a comment below and let us know which agency surprised you most. Subscribe so you never miss an upload. There's a lot more where this came from.